Before we can create connections to an external model, we need to enter the access information that enables us to connect to the repository in which the model is stored. We will call that a repository connection, as opposed to the model connections between model elements that Syndeia will create later. The objective of this video is to show how to set up repository connections, either to a configuration-managed repository or simply to a folder in your local file system. Repository connections may be stored either locally on your computer or in a database on a common server. See demonstration video 1.5 for more information. Before we try to create a repository network connection, there are two preconditions that we want to verify. First, make sure the Syndeia plugin has been installed in MagicDraw or Cameo System Modeler. You can check this in the Resource Plugin Manager. Second, open a model containing the Syndeia profile, or add the profile to your model with the useproject/uselocalproject menu command. Launch Syndeia and go to the Repository Manager tab. On the left side, there will be categories of repository connections corresponding to the Syndeia interface modules you are licensed to use. Unless you are starting with a new Syndeia installation in local mode, there will probably already be some repository connections loaded. To create a new network connection, find the type of repository you want on the left side and click on the category heading. Right-click on Windchill and choose Add. First, enter a repository name. This is a short descriptive name you choose to identify this network connection. For example, WC2. Then enter the URL, username, and password that were provided to you by the repository administrator when your access was established. Click OK. You can now see the new network connection under Windchill in the left column. Select WC2, and you should be able to see the contents of the Windchill repository that you have been given access to. If you are using Syndeia in local mode, repository connections are stored locally on your computer. If you are in database mode, repository connection names and URLs are stored in the database. Generally, you and your collaborators will want to share the same repository connections. However, your username and password are still stored locally. Information available to you on your account with the repository may not be available to others, and vice versa. Creating a connection to your local file system is similar. Right-click on Local File System, select Add, choose a connection name, and browse to a package containing the files you wish to access. If database mode is in use, local connections from all users will be shown in the Repository Manager, even though you may not be able to access other users' local file systems. It helps to have a standard naming convention, such as Dirk Local, Manus Local, etc., for these connections to help avoid confusion. The connection name is part of the data stored for each connection. We can see this under Target Repository in either the connection browser or the connection summary. Once created, the repository connection cannot be edited. If it is necessary to change URL, username, or password, it is possible to delete the existing connection by right-clicking it and choosing Remove. Be careful if you do this in database mode. Others may be using that connection. You can restore the links by adding a new repository connection and keeping the original name. The model connections created under the original name will still be valid.